Hey, cutie pies. I'm Lanikia, and I'm coming to you with a new edition of What Happened on the Soaps. This is for the Young and the Restless. Today is Monday, April the 25th, 2022. All right, so let's just get right into it. I'm gonna have to give this one about a 7. It was solid. So we see on this episode Jack and Phyliss talk, and they're just talking about the accident, with everything that happened with Ray, and they're saying, he was such a good man, and they're sorry to hear that, and what's the luck that three people they know would all be in an accident and with each other. And then they say Jack says he was going to talk to Nikki about everything that's going on, but now he's going to wait. He's just going to go over and check on her. Since Victoria was in the accident and everything. And so he and Phyllis talking, and he's just like, I can't believe Diane is here. And Phyllis like, yeah, at my hotel. But the good thing is they can keep an eye on her. Now, as this is going on, Phyllis is in her room going stir crazy because she's just thinking about her conversation with Jack and how he laid down the law. He was like, ma'am, nobody told you to be here. And how he hopes that Kyle sees her and Kyle doesn't want a relationship with her. And Phyllis said, I can't believe you talked, tough with Diane. And he was like, well, it was about time. So anyways, as they're doing this, Miss Diane gonna come out the elevator and like, girl, what are you doing? And Jack and Phyllis see her and they're like, what are you doing? And she was like, oh, I was just going so stir crazy up in there. I couldn't do it. And they're like, if you don't get yourself back up in the room, like you can't go walking around on willy nilly. There are people who know that you are here, who don't know that you are here, and would it could be a mess. Like, what are you doing? And so she says, I can't be in that room anymore. So Phyllis is like, I'll send up for you to have a massage, and I'll send up a bottle of rosé on the hotel and everything. Let's go. Let's get back up in this room or whatever if you're antsy. So at this point, Nikki coming through. So Nikki is at the door or whatever, and she sees them. We're gonna pick back up on Nikki and them. So on another note, Tessa and Mariah are talking, and they're just talking about how Mariah came home because her mother is being strong, and she doesn't, she wants their life to continue to go on. Um, and everything for, just to be strong. And so they call Faith and just tell Faith, if you need anything, we're here. And then Noah comes over and they're all sitting down talking. And Mariah says, I feel guilty because with all this going on, I'm thinking about myself and being selfish because I want to say, if something like that happened to me, I don't know how you survive it. And they tell her, Tessa and Noah tell her it's not selfish to, think about if something happens to someone you love. And Noah says you just have to love anyways because, you know, you can't live life being afraid of what could happen and everything. So they thought about postponing their wedding, and Noah talks them out of it. He says, Mom wants you to have the wedding. So if you're doing this for Mom, don't, or whatever. Anyways, they're going to have the wedding. Listen, I like them, but they're a little boring. I like Noah, but they always, I feel like they force Tess and Mariah on us, like, and I like them, but I feel like they force them on us as far as the same way I feel like Devon and Amanda. I feel certain couples are just forced on you, and you're like, please hurry up, especially that fashion show scene. I was like, please, what are we doing here? But anyways, so then we go to Sharon, who is at home with Nick, and she just says that she, had time to think about it, and she doesn't know what she's gonna do about Ray. What does he think? And Nick said, I think you should do what Ray would want. And she says, honestly, Ray always wanted to go home more, and in the end, she decides that she's gonna send his body home because he always wanted to go home, he always wanted to spend more time with his family, and now they won't be able to. And she said at first she was just taken aback by Shalette's request, but she understands it. And so Abby and Chase come over and they sit down and they talk, and Nick tells her, I'm going to take care of the arrangements for Ray and Shalette and everything. and talk to her. So she sits. So that gives Sharon time to sit down with Abby and Chase, and they just say what a good man Ray was, and that's the same thing with Mariah and Tessa. They just talk about how he was a good man, and how Sharon and Ray had this quiet love for each other, and how strong he was when she was sick, and she was able to pull off his strength to survive. And Chase just says, Ray was such a great person to be around, just to know. And they just let Sharon know, if you need anything, we're here for you. I was a little distracted because Abby shoes. When she got to leave, I said, "Girl, what? What?" But her suit was cute. But anyways, that was it with them. And then Nick tells Sharon that he made the arrangements. So after an autopsy, they're going to send Ray's body to Miami. And she says, well, I have to get to the morgue to see him one last time or whatever. And Nick is going to take her to do that. So then getting back to Nikki. All right, so Nikki's like, what's going on right there? Because Jack was like, Nikki, trying to distract her, and Phyliss is just like, Diane, get your up in the elevator, come on. So they get up to the room, Phyliss and Diane, and she says, all right, I'm ready for my bottle of rosé and all that. And Phyliss said, girl, you ain't getting that. Diane said, so you lied. You lied to my face. And she says, yes, I did lie to your face. And Diane was like, this doesn't have anything to do with you, Phyliss. This is between me, our son Kyle, and Jack. And I was like, that's what you want, girl. That's what you want. But anyways, but Phil said, girl, this has to do with me too, because if Kyle gets hurt or whatever you do to Kyle, that affects my daughter's summer. And Phyllis is, and Diane was like, oh, don't remind me we're somewhat related or whatever. And Phil said, I'm not happy about it either, sis. But anyways, they just go ahead and do what they do. As far as her telling Diane, you're just so dang selfish. Like, you being out and about. What if somebody sees you and then they get to Kyle before that? And Phyllis, and so Diane is just like, Phyllis just tells Diane, stay in this room. Or I'm gonna have to handcuff you or lock you in a closet. And Diane was like, really, Phyllis? Really? So, anyways, over there with Jack and Nikki, she says she updates him on Victoria, and they're sorry about Ray and everything. She asks about Ashton. She said he all right. They kept it moving. And then he says she says, no, but you're not going to distract me from the fact, who was that woman that Phyllis was rushing into the elevator? And so he tells her, are you sure you got the emotional capacity to handle this right now? Because you're dealing with a lot. And she was like, Jack, just tell me. I'm strong. And so he tells her, that was about Diane Jenkins. She's alive. And she said, no, Jack. Now, listen. She did the same thing. Everybody said, now listen, Jack, I know you've been through some things, and he said, no, I've talked to her. I've spoken to her. She's alive. And she said, no, she can't be, because I killed her in self-defense. And he was like, I've been talking to her. I've seen her. She showed up and she wants Kyle in her life. And she said, how could she be alive? And he said, Deacon Sharp helped her. And she said, that rat. Well, she didn't say that, but I'm saying, she said, that rat. And she said, take me to her, Jack. And he said, Nikki. And she said, no, take me to her. I got to see this for myself. So then there's a knock at the door, and Phyllis said, that's probably Jack or whatever. And she opened the door, and Jack says, change of plans. Then Nikki come around that corner, and she says, where is she? And so Phyllis moves out the way. Phyllis is me on the door. She was smirking like, it's gonna go down. She was me on the door. And then Nikki looks at Diane, and she's like, oh my God. So that was the Young and the Restless today, guys. I hope to see you tomorrow for a new episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.